I'm going to make this as straightforward and quick and unedited as I can. This is, if originally I was going to make this film and have you guys make a judgment on whether we should order 10-inch stone, 10-inch wall cap or 12-inch wall cap for the curved wall. And I was doing some analysis to see, how big is the hangover going to be, because the 12-inch seemed like it was going to be hanging over too far. But by the time I got everything put together, including the films, and took a look, I'm satisfied with the decisions I made. Nevertheless, you guys can watch this, and I mean, we haven't paid for it, so I guess if the worst case scenario, we could say, no, 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 we're not going to buy the 12, you need to buy the 10. Anyway, uh, I'd hoped to get this out to you last night, but it was just couldn't accomplish it. All right, this is a looking down on top of the wall. The gray lines is the brick wall, and keep in mind this wall is probably actually going to get thicker. So that's what makes me even more comfortable with my decision to go with a 12-inch wall cap. When we use 10-inch wall cap and segment it without, I don't want a ridiculous number of segments going around there. So when we segment it like this, coming around, then you have, at your tight spots, you have about 3/4 of an inch, which is not a big hangover. And at your big spots, you have 1.25 inches, which is a great hangover. Overhang, I guess, is the better word. Is there a great hangover ever? So you have 1.25 inches overhang at your greatest points of overhang, which is here and here and there. Now, when you go to the 12-inch, however, and this is still showing the 8-inch wall underneath, you can see that the overhanging the becomes greater by an inch. Obviously, this is an inch bigger on each side, so your overhang becomes pretty substantially bigger. And I thought, going in, I think I thought that was, a little bit much. Really, when we were using the limestone and it was cut to a radius, we could maintain 1.25 inches overhang evenly all the way around because it was cut to a radius. But we don't have that option with these stones because they have a split face, and obviously we can't duplicate that. So here is the 12-inch looking down over the curved portion, and you can see the overhangs 2.25 and 175. So that's what you've got there. Dale tells me that the stuff that he's going to put on the inside and outside of this wall essentially going to add about 1/4 inch to each surface. So these will come down to 1.5 inches and 2 inches, which is not too bad. In any case, the only other thing to consider then is when we get down to the bottom portion of this curved wall where it wraps around and returns to the house, then we're going to always have a 2-inch overhang on each side prior to Dale's surface. So it's a pretty chunky overhang. The limestone, when I was going to use the limestone, I was going to have that about 11 inches. And so now we're either into a 10, which doesn't quite overhang enough, I don't think, or we're into a 12, which is a pretty chunky overhang. Nevertheless, and then the final portion of this puzzle is the little walls at the top by the cooking area. Those walls, they're only 7 5/8 going in. So by the time we put that 12-inch wall cap, we have a 2-inch plus overhang on each side. 10-inch wall cap gives us a better overhang on each side with only maybe about 1.25 inches on each side, which is ideal. So what I ended up doing was using 12-inch on the round wall, including the portion where it goes straight, and 10-inch on the upper wall by the cooktop situation. So these are a series of pictures from different angles showing you the different arrangements. First, this was the original, the limestone wall, and just keep in mind, this limestone, I didn't update this, so I'm actually showing this limestone at 9, which is a far worse thing than the 10. In any case, just for the look, and kind of keep your eye on the background too and how this changes. There it is with the limestone cap. Here it is. I believe this is with all 10s. Here it is with all 12s. This is 12s here and 10s up here. This is what I've ordered right now. 10s for this upper wall, 12s for this where it curves around. and we go, and the final, and if I were to put, actually no, that's 12s everywhere. Here's what I ordered, which is 10s for this and 12s for this. Here it is from this angle. Original limestone, all 10s, all 12s, 12 and 10, 10 and 12. This is what I've ordered. Okay. Another angle. There's the limestone, and keep in mind that isn't exactly as fat as it was going to be. There's all 12-inch. You see, you know, it gets smaller here, but it's going to be pretty chunky here. All 12s, all 10s. And yeah, I know that bottom, I know that little planting area goes away. So that's what I've ordered, and hopefully that, I think that's our best choice. I mean, I guess there's a silver lining or whatever. If you ever screen the place, the 12-inch gives us probably better alternatives on the screening. And if this wall ever acts up again, we can always stucco this and not have to worry about not having enough depth to do that. It could be done. Okay, I think as our decision with the switching from that round roof arrangement to this angular one, I felt helped the project and was actually more beneficial in terms of the project itself. Cost a real layer of icing on it. I think that this here is actually going to be a good call, going with this consistent wall cap. You know, again, chunky savings, and I think it actually does improve it. You have a film from earlier, or a link from a film from earlier showing you the limestone, so I'm not going to rehash that. This is this film then. You can see there exactly what I ordered. The 12-inch on the round, the 10-inch on the short little angled walls here at the cook area. I just think this is the best mix. You'll have to pardon that I don't have the color and texture exactly right, but this was the best it would knock off for me in short notice. Also a quick look at how that column was going to work out back there. So now you can take a look and see that 10-inch cap at that upper wall. You can see a 12 would just be a bit much up there.